I'm Lights Camera Jackson and welcome to LCJ Live. Today is Sunday, June 19, 2022. Happy Father's Day. And boy, do we have some interesting results for your Father's Day weekend box office. We will get to that. Award season news, some big movies opening this week. How will they do up against our top films at the current box office and more. As always, send in your questions and your comments, but let's get right to it. Wow, Lightyear lost. I'll be the first to admit I thought this film could have done really, really well. But I was seeing the momentum sort of change on social media during the week going, wait a second, people don't get the concept of this movie. They don't like the concept of this movie. Some people like the film. I think the film is good. Is it an all-time Pixar classic? No. Does it have problems, especially towards the end? Yes. But I like Lightyear for the most part and appreciate a lot of what Pixar put into it. But did not connect enough with audiences to want to go this weekend, even through the marketing, through everything going on. Lightyear just $51 million. Whew, that's low. And it lost to Jurassic World Dominion for its second weekend. Jurassic World made $58.7. Now, this is not the first time Pixar has lost to a Jurassic World movie. Back in 2015, Jurassic World had a second weekend of $103 million. Inside Out opened to $90 million, a huge open for a Pixar movie, but it came in second to the second weekend of Jurassic World. So Pixar has gone through this before, though I think they would take a 103 to 90 loss. Taking a 58-7 to 51 loss, that's tougher. And also considering Top Gun Maverick came in a strong third place this weekend with $44 million right on Lightyear's tail. And this Top Gun gross is the second biggest ever for a fourth weekend of any movie when it comes to wide release of all time, only behind Avatar. Unbelievable. Top Gun Maverick is up to $466.2 million. Jurassic World Dominion is up to $248. Wow. That top three, though, you have to take a look at that top three and go, they made $150 million. This top three is a strong top three. But it is not quite the order that I think anybody expected. For Lightyear to only open to $51 million. Now, yes, that is the biggest open of an animated movie in this pandemic period. So that is an accomplishment. But 51 is so much lower than the majority of Pixar movies that have ever been released. And to lose to Jurassic World by only $7.7 million, wow. I mean, they could have done this. Lightyear easily could have had this win, and it just didn't happen. Now, some people will blame it on, well, I didn't want to see the concept, I didn't like the concept. Some people will blame it on, well, I wanted to see Tim Allen in this role and not Chris Evans. Some people say, well, maybe families want to wait 2 weeks and go see Minions, and they don't want to spend all the money, because these ticket prices keep going up, and families want to wait for Minions for 2 weeks. They may want to wait till Lightyear's on Disney+. Kids are still in school in many parts of the country till at least through the entire week, this week coming up. So there's a lot of factors here. Also, what was brought to my attention yesterday is that this is a spin-off movie. It is. But look at what these spin-off animated movies have done compared to the original core installments at the box office. Lightyear with a $51 million open. The average open of a Toy Story movie, $79 million. The average open of the last two Toy Story movies, right around $115 million. Okay, Puss in Boots opened to $34 million in 2011. The average open of a Shrek movie, $85 million. That's a huge difference. But people didn't totally complain about Puss in Boots not doing nearly as well as the Shrek movies. Puss in Boots was a well-received film. It received an Academy Award nomination for Animated Feature. It also made exactly the same amount of money in its second weekend and ended up with about $150 million total. That's right, it did like 34 first weekend, 33 the second weekend. Penguins of Madagascar was considered a disappointment at the box office because it had a $25 million 3-day open, about a $33 million 5-day open, something like that. And the average open of a Madagascar movie was right around $57 million. Penguins of Madagascar only made 85 total, and the other Madagascar movies made 180, 193, and 216. That was considered a disappointment, a spin-off in a core animated movie franchise. Planes, the Disney animated movie Planes, that was released after the first two Cars movies, opened at $22 million. The average open of a Cars movie, counting all three, $60 million. Planes ended up with $90 million. They made a sequel that came out the very next year, Fire and Rescue. only made, I think, 58, something like that, a lot less than what the first Planes did. But again, $90 million for Planes. The other three Cars films, 153, 191, and $244 million. So Lightyear is now clearly another case of an animated spin-off not doing nearly as well as its core franchise. Thank you for the expertise, Jackson says, Shellfish Beach. I appreciate that very much. That's where we're at. But no one really saw this coming, that it was going to fall into this category of being another spin-off, because Planes was a Disney Toon Studios franchise compared to a Pixar franchise. We hadn't really seen a Pixar franchise do this with another Pixar franchise. We hadn't seen that. Yes, Monsters University is a prequel, but it did really well, even with the first one. And all these sequels, Finding Dory and the Toy Stories and Incredibles 2, doing either as well as the original installment or better than the original installment. So here we are. Lightyear, Disney, today, has to be thinking, what the heck happened? But they have to quickly shift their attention to Thor, Love and Thunder, which opens in less than 3 weeks on July 8th. And will hopefully do the numbers that Doctor Strange has been doing. Another 4.2 million this weekend. It's at 405. How big will Thor, Love and Thunder be? I have to imagine Disney has to be surprised about a few things this summer. Number one, about Lightyear not doing nearly as well as it could have. Number two, Doctor Strange doing well, but Top Gun Maverick making more than Doctor Strange. So now they're going to shift their focus to Thor and see if they can hang on to some summer movie season momentum. They started it off with Doctor Strange. They threw in Bob's Burgers because it had to finally be released. Bob's Burgers, another 1.1 million this weekend. It's at 30. Then they come in with Lightyear, and now comes Thor. Disney has to be disappointed today, and we'll see if they learn from this. All right, bad guys, $980,000, $94.2 million for the DreamWorks animated comedy. It's not going to get to 100, because even though not as many families as expected went to Lightyear, still a ton more than Bad Guys, it's not going to get to 100. And with Minions on the way, here's the other interesting thing, folks. Minions, 2 weeks away, then Paws of Fury from Paramount, another 2 weeks after that, and DC League of Super Pets 2 weeks after that. So you've got more animated movies on the way. How many will families want to see? How many will families want to go see right away? August is going to be a makeup period, I think, for some movies, especially at the drive-ins this summer. And so how many are going to wait to see some of those until August? Shellfish Beach has the question, do you think any more Pixar movies are going to theaters? Yeah, the other factor in this is that this Lightyear is the first Pixar movie to get a theatrical release, a sole theatrical release, since Onward. Onward in March of 2020 was only in theaters for about 12 days. And then all the theaters shut down. It had the leap day, which is when I saw it, and then it opened March 5th and went till the 15th, something like that. The last time a Pixar movie was in theaters, exclusively in theaters, for more than 2 weeks was Toy Story 4 3 years ago this weekend in 2019. You had Soul go to Disney+, you had Luca go to Disney+, you had Turning Red go to Disney+. And for those last two, Luca and Turning Red, they only got 1 or 2 or 3 theaters in this country to be released in as well, including the El Capitan. Soul had to go to Disney+. When people say Soul should have gotten a theatrical release, you have to understand it was Christmas of 2020. Nobody wanted to go. Some people wanted to go to the theater to see Wonder Woman, but Disney putting out a family movie in theaters at that time was not going to happen. Yes, The Croods: A New Age came out in theaters, but Disney was not going to do that. Soul had to go to Disney+. You have to understand that had to happen at that time. Now, Luca should have gone to theaters in summer of 2021. There was a hole in the schedule. It was before some of the new variants came in. Families needed to get out of the house and see something. Luca would have done very well. Older people would have gone to Luca too. A new Pixar film, that would have happened, should have happened. Turning Red could have gone to theaters as well this March. There was still some uncertainty in the air from the new variants. If I had to rank them as far as what should have gone to theaters under the circumstances we were in, Luca easily number 1, Turning Red number 2, and Soul number 3, and Soul was not going to happen. So will more Pixar movies go to theaters? Yes. Yes. I think Disney's going to want to put more Pixar movies in theaters. And they shouldn't just... I mean, they're going to take this as a loss, and they're not going to be happy, but this has nothing to do with the fact, I don't think, fully, that families understand, oh, wow, the last 3 Pixar movies are going to Disney Plus. Wait, we got to go to the theaters now? There are people who get that, and there will be a few families who will want to wait, but I don't think that's fully the reason why Lightyear didn't do so well this weekend, is because people have now this assumption that all Pixar movies are going to go to Disney Plus. That's not fully there. I think more Pixar films will go to theaters, more Walt Disney Animation Studios films like This Strange World coming out in Thanksgiving will go to theaters. So I do think that'll happen. DJ Rachopa wants a new ranking of all 26 Pixar films. I may get to that. It's a busy week for me coming up with a lot of things, but I will say this. Lightyear is good. Lightyear is not outstanding. And I get into this with my Too Fast, Too Films podcast co-host Mike Sargent on our new episode, which will be up soon. We talk about that and Cha-Cha Real Smooth, which is now on Apple TV+. But yeah, it's a good film. It's not an amazing movie. It's kind of like how I felt about Finding Dory, also directed by Angus MacLean. Good, not amazing. Not as powerful as it could have been. But watchable, for sure. Other top 10 movies before we get to some other things. Downton Abbey, A New Era, 830,000. It's at 42.2. Everything Everywhere All at Once, 960,000. It's at $65 million. It's been in the top 10 for 12 weeks in a row. In theaters for 13 weeks now. What a run it's had. Sonic the Hedgehog 2, 278,000. It's at 190.5. And Brian and Charles from Focus Features, new indie movie that came out this weekend, 198,000. I guess it's going to come in 10th place this weekend. A film making 198,000, which brings us back to the height of the pandemic of something like that happening. But I guess that's the case. But we'll find out here pretty soon if that is the case. Firestarter and Lost City, just under that. Official Competition, 34,000 this weekend. Some other movies came in close to that figure. Phantom of the Open, which is going to more theaters this weekend. So, you look at that top-heavy top 3, and then you look at the next 5, and then you look at the bottom 2, and the bottom 2 earned a combined, $450,000 this weekend. Yeesh. So, yes, but that's the way it is. Nobody wanted to go up against Lightyear. Nobody wanted to go up against Jurassic World. The only movie that wanted to go up against Top Gun and knew it was going to lose was Bob's Burgers. Nobody wanted to go up against Doctor Strange. Nobody really wanted to go up against Downton Abbey, though a few other films were out. So now, this weekend, we have a couple movies going up against each other. Now, finally, it's been a bit. Elvis and The Black Phone. They are the 2 big theatrical releases, with Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, which I've seen, coming out in select theaters. Marcel's a good movie. It's a nice film. It has a strong second half. I think a stronger second half than the first half. But it's a good movie overall. You get emotion out of it. You get humor out of it. It's sweet. It's nice. It's sincere. Marcel the Shell. I'm seeing Elvis this week. I might be seeing Black Phone this week. Elvis I'm looking forward to. It is 2 hours and 40 minutes, which is going to cut into showtimes per screen per theater. But if it's an experience and it's amazing, then it's going to be really good. Elvis is this week. Black Phone, there were mixed reviews coming out of CinemaCon on that Ethan Hawke horror movie from Universal. Universal then has Minions and Nope and more films, Easter Sunday for the rest of the summer. So, and they're hot off the success of Jurassic World. What will win the weekend next weekend? Gosh, it's up in the air now. Can Elvis do more than $35 million? Can Jurassic World do more than $35 million? Can The Black Phone do about 20? How will Lightyear do as families wait in the in-between period for Minions? Could Lightyear only drop to 20 million, 25 million? Will Top Gun have such a small drop again that it goes from 44 to 35? It could get really close next weekend for what's going to be number 1. And a very interesting top 5 with an order that could go in now in several different directions. Those are the big movies for theaters. On streaming services, I've seen Rise, which is the new sports film about Giannis and his family. That is on Disney+. I've also seen The Man from Toronto, which is Woody Harrelson and Kevin Hart, which is on Netflix. I don't think I'm allowed to talk about either of those movies yet in terms of my thoughts on them, but you'll get them this week, along with more films I'm checking out. Facing Nolan, the documentary on Nolan Ryan, is coming back to theaters starting this coming weekend. And Friday night, it's the Daytime Emmy Awards on CBS. What will win in the game show? In the game show host category, I'll have more thoughts on that later in the week. For all of my reviews and commentary and interviews, everything you need to know, LCJ, go to lights-camera-jackson.com, Twitter at LCJ Reviews, Instagram at LightsCamJackson. New AnimationScoop.com Q&A and LCJ Q&A podcast episode tomorrow with the creators of the new Disney Junior animated series Eureka, Neve Sharkey and Norton Versian. The show premieres Wednesday night at 7:30 on Disney Junior. New podcast episode and AnimationScoop.com Q&A coming at you tomorrow. More of those on the way, more other big news I'm hopefully excited to tell you about very soon, of some cool things in the works. And keep on rolling in the world of film and television and the world of entertainment. Hope you have a nice Father's Day today and have had a good weekend. When we're back here next Sunday for our final episode of the month of June. Wow. We're almost to the end of the first half of 2022. That is amazing. We'll take a look at how Elvis and the Black Phone did up against the other three films. We'll preview the Minions box office and other films that are being released over the next few weeks. Got my pal Stitch Elvis here with me, Elvis Stitch, all one word, to celebrate the release of Elvis. Jason Black. I should be with my kids, but I'm watching Jackson. Thank you, Jason, and hope you have a good Father's Day today. So we'll see how all these movies do next weekend. Hope you have a good week. Keep it to all my socials for some cool interviews and some cool info. And I'll see you next Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern for another episode of LCJ Live. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.